Show you guys before you start this job something that you guys have to be aware of, and that is, welcome guys. Today we have a 2012 Nissan Maxima. The customer complaint is that there's no power steering. All these lights are on in the dash. So let me show you guys what could be a possibility of that problem. So stay tuned, and I'm also gonna fix the problem, so stay tuned for that also. Let's get it. All right, so let me show you guys all the lights that are on the vehicle. All right, so we start the car, and then you have brake light, battery light, and they stay on. You also have the check tire pressure, which is probably low tire or something, and then there's no power steering. It's so hard to turn when the car's on. So let me show you guys what's going on here. All right, so let me remove this panel, take off this clip, and this should come right off like that. And now we're gonna check the power steering reservoir. We have fluid, so we know that there is fluid in the system. Next, we're gonna go check our belt, and our belt is missing. As you guys can see, it's shredded. It broke off, so there's no belt. There's a belt that's broken, so let me pull it out for you guys. So the belt snapped on the customer. Now, why did it snap, you might ask? Probably one of the pulleys down here seized, or maybe. So we're gonna start. That one turns. That one turns. This one turns. This one turns. The alternator is seized, so this customer is gonna need an alternator. It doesn't turn at all, and then the AC compressor does turn, so it's not an AC compressor either. And our power steering's back here somewhere, and we're gonna check that. We'll have to take the tire off. So let's put the car in the air and take the tire off and keep diagnosing this thing. All right, so we're down here now. Let me get some more light over here without this. All right, so we're down here now, and our power steering is right here. So that's why our power steering is not working, because the belt snap is not turning that also. Our tensioner feels still good, and then, like I said, all these other that one's a little noisy, so I'm gonna replace those two idler pulleys, 3 idler pulleys, and the alternator, because the alternator does not turn, and this turns too. So we already know that, and then this turns everything. So let's get an alternator ordered and get this thing on the road. I'm gonna actually show you guys before you start this job something that you guys have to be aware of, and that is right here. Sometimes they're all corroded, and this time I think we're okay, but sometimes these pipes get so corroded that they break. So you can see everything's just mumbling down here. So let's get it and repair this vehicle. All right, next we're gonna drain the coolant, and it has a, you guys can see right there, there's a little drain plug there. You remove that, and it comes right out. And drain that, open up the cap on top, and then it'll drain quicker. So now we're going to be removing this hose next, so that we have room for the AC compressor to come down, because we're gonna do it that way. So let's get it. After putting that plug back in, remove the hose from here. Be careful, you know. And we're gonna remove all the little clips around the mount around the pipe, which is right here. There's one here. There's 3 areas where it clips on this little harness. So take those off next, and then loosen this hose too. And then that bolt and that bolt come out. They're 10 mils. So that's what we're doing next. All right. After removing this pipe, we have access now to take off the AC compressor so that we can finesse the alternator through here. So let's get that 2 bolts here and 2 bolts on this side and 2 bolts in the front here, or on the side, and then this is the front, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we gotta take that off. Then we're gonna probably put this harness this way because this is gonna drop anyway. This doesn't want to come out, but let me take it out. This plug, you know, it's just being a pain in the butt. It's just not coming out. Right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove that plug up there from the AC compressor, that thing right there, so that I can get it loose. But first, I'm gonna remove this hose right here from these brackets, which I already did. And there's a bracket right there with a bolt. So we're gonna take that out, that thing right there. So let's get it. All right. So the bolt that was holding that wasn't this bolt here. It was, there's one up top that coming this way, and it goes like that. So that comes all, that's loose now. We can get the plug in there better, from a better angle now, and get it out. Need 2 hands for this. All right, with that plug disconnected from the AC compressor, which is right there, now we can loosen up the AC compressor bolts to hold it, and then bring the thing down. And then we're gonna have to go up top and disconnect our battery before we even touch anything on the alternator. Disconnect our battery and remove some bolts and nuts. So let's get that done real quick and keep going. All right, next we're gonna remove these duct here. 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna remove this bolt that holds this bracket here. We're gonna take that clamp off and remove this top hose. All right, so now we expose the connectors down here, the wire that goes to the battery. We have to still disconnect that. And then you can see the plug in there. We have to take that plug off. And then we should be able to keep going. Let's get it. All right, so I'll put a rag on here so it doesn't touch the terminal. And then we get shocked. So then now we're gonna take off the connectors down here and take off the 2 bolts that hold the alternator and get it out, finesse it out. It's a pain in the butt, but that's a better way to do it without taking the radiator out. So let's get it. All right, after removing those 2 plugs from the alternator, now we're gonna remove, you see that bolt up there, this one right here? That just stays there. So you gotta just remove the nut on this side. Well, we have to remove this pulley here, and then the nut's right there. So we're just gonna take that out. And then up there, we have another nut or a bolt up here that's coming from that side. So we gotta get it from this side somehow. I think we have to move this hose here. So let's get that done next. All right, so the top bolt you get from up here with one of these swivels. Where's the swivel? This swivel. So you get the bolt for the alternator that holds it off, and you also get the nut off from the alternator that holds that wire. That big wire that goes to the battery. That's all disconnected. Now, last thing is that bolt that I showed you guys down there that has the nut on the end, and the other part stays in. So let's get that up. All right, after removing the nut, this thing just pushes out just like that. And then you can grab it from back here. Slide it out. If it wants to cooperate, it's out. It's just, and you know, give me a hard time coming out the tip. All right, now with a pry bar, you want to pry out the alternator. Just like that. Out that way. And it's in. And come on. Come on, little guy. But yeah, it's out, pretty much. Just gotta give it one more tug. There you go. Came right out. So now we gotta finesse it out of here. Let's get that done. All right, so we got it out. There was a pain in the butt, but as you can see, it's out now. And what we did, be careful with this wire here, because it touches there. So I just put it down like this and then try to finesse it on top. So now we're gonna have to install it back in. So see how the AC compressor's facing? It's like down, and then so that's how it's supposed to be. So now we're gonna install the new alternator, which is right here. So let's get it. All right, so in order to install this alternator, and it'll be the easiest way to install it, you see this thing right here, it's like it slides in and out. So you want to push that all the way down, flush with that, so you can actually like just slide it in there on the piece over here. This piece here, it'll be easier. Trust me, you want to do that. So take something to hit this like down and get a flush. And that's how flat you want it. So I hit it down. So now let's install this bad boy. I'll take off this nut because it'll be easier to put it up. Let's get it. All right, easiest way to get the alternator in, line it up, put a bolt that came out from the AC compressor, put it through that hole from the front, and then put the one from the back. And that'll make your life so much easier. All right, so when you install the alternator, it's a little tough. So what I did, I didn't touch this wire at all. So you wouldn't take that wire out before taking the alternator out. I just pretty much just loosened the nut on there and left it there. I did take the plug out, remember? So what I did, when I pulled it up, I slid that cable onto the threads on the alternator, and it was holding the alternator. So then I put the nut on top to make sure it didn't come off of it. And then I came over here and loosened up the bolt, the other bolt down there, right there. This one right here, that one right there, I loosened up a little bit, and then I was able to move that bracket so I can get the bolt over here on easier. Or if not, you're gonna cross thread the threads if you try putting it in like that. So loosen that bracket and then tighten everything up at the end, and make sure everything fits. But yeah, don't forget to tighten up this nut right here, and then the plug up here on the alternator. Now let's put the AC back on and the belt on and tighten everything up. All right, after tightening everything here, putting this hose back on with this pipe, make sure you put the clamps on it right, and the brackets, make sure you tighten them down, those two. And also this line here, remember that bracket we took off, put that nut bolt back on there. Tighten this bolt to the, tighten everything, and then we're gonna put that pulley back on and the belt. And that should be it, guys. You guys, should be able to get this done after, put the coolant on. I'm gonna actually teach you guys how to do that. So we're gonna get a tool, and I'm gonna show you guys so you guys can buy it probably one of these days, and it just makes life so much easier. So let's get it. All right, so when you tension this thing, put a bolt or something on that hole right here to hold that up. It'd be easier to put that belt on. So now let's put the belt on. All right, with the belt on, that's how you route it. And now put the wheel back on, torque it to 90 foot-pounds. And then we're gonna put the rest of the stuff together up top. Let's get it. All right, put this hose back on, the bracket back on, and then we're gonna come over here, slide this on here, and then put the 3 bolts on top. All right, so I bought this kit off of Amazon. It was like 80 bucks, and it comes with all these fittings. So we're gonna find the fitting that fits on our radiator cap here. I already took the cap off, so you just gotta find one that fits on there. I think I found it. and then we're gonna put the hose here, suck it out and everything. So, all right, so I hooked it up. This is how you hook it up, and then you turn the valves and stuff to make it use. So we gotta build up pressure on here first. So I think we have it open here. Now it's building pressure. Once it builds pressure, we're gonna close the valve. Hold on a second, guys. After closing the valve, now we're gonna sink in this hose over here and let the magic begin. So now we're sucking up the coolant back into the system. This is new coolant. I emptied the other one out. This is the new coolant that what I got. So put it in a bucket. It's easier than just swinging out. You know, you can get air in the system if you keep swapping out the 2 gallons that you're putting in the system. All right, let's start it up and see if the lights are gone. Yep, all the lights are gone, except that the TPS, we put air in the tire, so we got to drive the car to get that off. So everything else is good. Put the heat all the way up after you did that and let it run for a little bit. So we're gonna put the noisy, and then we're gonna do the face. Now we got power steering. And make sure you guys open the door when you run in a car inside the building. So let me do that next. And I put this on here just to put the rest of it in there. You know, the rest of the fluid in there and let the heat go. So that's what I'm doing next too.